the Azir soldiers. So we'll see if he can have that impact. If he has a similar amount of impact as last game, at least, it does feel like DCG probably have this one in the bag because monster performance in the last game. But it was Chiefs who picked up game number 1, and as I said earlier, it's a 1-1 scoreline. Both teams now looking to get their second win, put themselves onto match point. Formidable drafts coming out from both sides. I think all things considered, it's pretty hard to sort of judge a winner.
Point your eyes towards Mission's runes. Airy, absolute focus, and Scorch. Once again, he goes for the full early game, even has that corrupting pot alongside it. I think this is not as good on Taliyah because it's a lot more difficult to consistently proc the Airy and the Scorch compared to a champ like Orianna that has low cooldowns and the ability to kind of poke through the creeps, whereas Taliyah doesn't find that as easily in Aladoric.
Oh, Aladoric might be caught out here. Might have to just take Grand Entrance. In fact, will. But not before taking a couple of auto attacks there.
Lost his bone plating as well, which I think does impact the level 1 trade a fair amount. So I would expect this to be prior just going over the side of DCG. And Hana, he's finally getting a leash. I think he solo started the other games, and now it's Babip who will be getting that solo start on the red buff.
I think Hana is anticipating a lot more early action in the bot lane this game, with the double Dorans picked up by the AD carries this time.
Could be a lot of skirmishing around there. Mission, he's the one getting the priority early, which makes a lot of sense. Azir doesn't really come online until you get more points in the W, and particularly until you can start threatening the gank with that ulti. DCG's bot lane, they're looking to get aggressive. Aren't quite going to find the angle.
Oh, Grand Entrance. Will be sort of tethered there. And Orca finding a nice trade for himself. Aladoric getting reasonably low, sitting at half health. And level 2 now. Void Seeker connects, and Aladoric getting very, very low down in this bot side. As you take your eyes to mid, it's also similar there. Mission having a good time in terms of trades against Kizé on this Azir.
Not sure what happened in the mid lane trade. I wonder if Mission's just spamming out his E in order to proc all his runes. Does miss that one, though.
See, Hana is venturing across to the bottom blue side jungle.
Is he just going to go for a dive? He's going to spot that all these camps are gone, and it's pretty unlikely that Wukong will stay on this side of the map. At the same time, ganking a Zyra Khan with all their sums feels pretty difficult. Maybe he's going to try it, though. Positioning on the map kind of suggests it. A lot comes down to how big that bot wave is. Don't think it's big enough. Is just going to return to his own jungle. So spend a lot of time looking for Wukong in that bot side with the solo start, and I don't believe they placed any wards level 1. Was hard to get confirmation, but now has it.
Cryscada is getting looked at. He gets knocked up. Ignite used on him, and he does not have cleanse. He does have heal, and it has been used as Race has also used his cleanse on the other side. It's low health bars here on both AD carries. Supports having their way in this lane. But Zyra Khan can offload a lot of damage in a very surprisingly quick amount of time, as well as there is this heal coming through from Rakan. Hana, though, realizes the situation of bot, is peering his head towards it. Coming through try, will be spotted.
Can this dive work? I don't think it can. The wave isn't big enough. I like what Chiefs are doing, holding it off as well.
Yeah.
I think it was a smart decision there. It is CS that does favor Cryscada, but forced to base first, and that wave probably can get pushed out. Mission gets a base off. Once again, he goes the D-Ring and the Dark Seal. So 3 laning items. And a lot of damage here onto Kizé, who he still has the TP. So as long as he can get out here, but might take a lot of damage on the way out. But can just TP back. Is going to lose something for it, though, as the D-Mat on the cannon. Oh, I don't know about this one. Has to be really careful. If he is caught by a shove, he's pretty much gone. Now does level up just in time. Dodges away. So it's going to be all right, but it's slowly bleeding CS under his tower. We'll be forced into basing sooner rather than later. Importantly, though, I don't think he will have lost chapter for his base, which is a big win. Babip spotted out an award here.
Yeah, but it's a 3v3. Looks like Chiefs opting into it, but DCG running away. That should be the bot side of Chiefs now, getting their recall in. Kizé again, stuck at his tower, very, very low. Dodges out of that shove and should get the recall off. But might just lose a few minions for it as Mission's trying to stop this back, but won't be in range. Hana taking away this Raptors because of the priority afforded to him.
A big gold advantage in mid lane already. Should manifest in more items here for Mission. And Kizé, importantly, I think having to TP a lane and not picking up the lost chapter is a pretty big win. Might even face check Mission. Ooh, cancels his base.
Cancels the base, and Barbip's here as well as Aladoric. Mission, though, is going to get the nice stun onto Babip. Eladoric will not connect with that grand entrance. It does force out Mission's flash. And Mission now very, very low. It's kind of the opposite of what we saw before, and now he's in trouble. Biopanther, though, goes all out here onto Hanabi, who is going to have to flash and use that ult just to escape. Good job by Biopanther. And I want to say, we do see the Bramble Vest first here for the Cassante, but unlike the Renekton, Aatrox actually has to auto-attack you to get healing. So I think it works a whole lot better.
With that mid chunk as well, Chiefs will pick up this first dragon. This is really, really good because mid lane was not looking too good. But Mission overstaying his base just a little bit, cost him dearly. And the first dragon is the ultimate consequence. Now looking back towards the bot lane, and the CS is pretty favored to Cruscata. Was a small lead before, but is getting bigger now. Manifest in those items as well, has a lot of AD. A lot of people around mid here, and this is a level 6 Azir against a flashless Talia.
Oh, he does use the flash. He gets the Emperor's Divide, and now Eladoric as well as Babip are in the area. It looks like Hana trying to cover him and keep him alive, and will turn up just in time. Important summon to use there from Kazay and Mission. Somehow, almost illegal that he escaped, but he certainly did.
It just feels like there wasn't any follow-up for some reason. Now, Raze, he could be punished on bot
Raze being looked
side.
at, does have to cleanse, does have to flash. Orca takes a tower shot, so he's getting pretty low, but another big cooldown usage from the Chiefs. It's now both that mid carry as well as the bot carry without those important flash cooldowns. Hana being looked at by Babip and will be forced away from that control ward.
Will probably just set his eyes towards the Herald next. Herald fight could be pretty interesting. Hanabi will have his ult up by that point, but wow, look at this wave. Has to be collected, and that's going to give Orca a lot of time to path up towards this Herald if he wants to. A plate will get denied. Better than nothing. I want to see if Hana is going to reset here or not. Feels like he might, especially given his health, but can, of course, sustain back up. Orca's pathing out to mid, but it looks like given Hana's state right now, that Herald will probably not be looked at just yet.
Yeah, who do we favor if there were to be a fight breakout around this Herald? Because my inclination is, if it's a 4v4 or 5v5, I'd almost favor the Chiefs for the time being.
I'm not sure. I feel like I'd favor DCG.
I think I'd favour DCG as well.
I think
Just
that
the Talia and the Aatrox bring more to the early fights than their counterparts.
I think I have to agree. And could we see something on the bot side? I mean, Azir, he's very good at poking around these fights, and he's good at getting the prio in the 1v1, but he doesn't have that same staying power, especially since he won't have any attack speed. I wouldn't think. He picks up the chapter. Okay, we'll be just rushing towards a straight Leandries, or could be a crown, I suppose, but unlikely versus the Kai'Sa. So DCG, they've got first pickings around this dragon. They've got the control. That ward was not spotted, which is pretty crucial. And it looks like the way Chiefs are pathing, they kind of want to fight it.
On top of that, DCG just have way more ability to blow someone up. They've got that Sejuani ult. Talia has great single target damage. Kai'Sa is a great follow-up. If they get any sort of picks around one of these objectives, the fight could just be over for Chiefs.
Kai'Sa won't be here, though, and
Are they really going to give this one up? They could go for a bot dive onto Xayah, which might even be more valuable. There are no sums on this Xayah. She does have ult, I believe, but it's going to be really hard.
Eladoric making his way down there. Might just make it in time, in fact.
I really like this, though. I think that DCG, they don't need to overvalue this Herald. If they can deny more onto Raze, that's super, super big. Really nice rotation. They wait until people come up, and then they just swip the flitch. Swip the flitch? They flip the switch and come down to the bot side. This Herald will go the way of Chiefs, but a lot lost in bot lane. Cruscata, he takes a couple on the way out, which is actually kind of a big deal because it shuts down any sort of 4-man that can come out. Although maybe he still has the health. Talia is sort of looking, is on a pink right now. The plates do go the way of DCG. Now it's up to Chiefs to answer back, find a way to use that Herald to their advantage. I think dropping it mid just could be the way.
It was only the one plate, though, because the first one did get denied. So as long as Chiefs can cash in this Herald again, in a fairly okay way, it should feel good for them. Now, Eladoric, using that grand entrance forward, means that DCG are going to look. It did force out Featherstorm there from Raze, but ultimately no deaths coming through. Feels okay. Will be a bit weaker until that cooldown's up, and it is 50 seconds until Dragon, which you certainly won't have access to the Xayah ult for. It was a trade for the Magnet Storm, of course, but we'll see if there's any interaction, if there is a fight around it, who that trade-off favors. And it's teleport advantage for Chiefs as well.
The Chiefs have managed to keep the gold even despite that Rift Herald.
Yeah.
Wonder, where do you guys think the Herald is going? Because I think that dropping it mid and just trying to break that later on could be the way.
I agree. I think that makes the most sense.
Mission.
Get rid of half the tower, come back, finish it later, maybe with the second Herald.
I think gold onto Azir as well.
Yeah. I think into the Shiv Kaiser as well. You kind of need to get damage on it. Otherwise, it just ends up getting stuck there. Now, this should still be a fairly DCG-favored fight, I think, because he still isn't towards those items that he needs. One item Azir will definitely be a lot stronger.
Yeah, Babip's so close to Divine Sunder as well, but won't ultimately have it as stunned up. He's getting looked at.
Wow.
It's going to be immediately blown up. That's first blood there. Mission picking up the credit for that one. Some important gold onto your Talia, and with that jungler dead, it should be Dragon now, the first of the game for DCG.
And that was exactly what we alluded to earlier. The Sejuani ult hits the Wukong, heaps of follow-up, single target, and they followed up with the Dragon.
It's pretty crazy as well. That was first blood in a 3v4. They didn't really have to invest much into it either. I don't think it was any flashes.
It was just the ult, I believe.
Yeah, and Ignite from Rel. That was really just it. They got first Dragon off it as well. Could also look at this bot lane here.
Yeah, no Feather Storm available. Phase being looked at. Killer Instinct as well as Magnet Storm, but he does flash away from him, so he's keeping himself nice and alive. Pressure, though, towards this bot side as Mission headed down in this direction. Babip is also... that should be all she wrote. It is, again, important summoners taken away from Raze on this Xayah. We've seen it time and time again. DCG look down here, get some cooldown off of Raze, but ultimately haven't been able to punish it fully yet. We'll have to see if he has Kraken on recall, though. It seems like he mustn't have backed in quite a long time as you take a look at item disparity in that bot lane.
Herald is dropped mid. This goal will go over to Kaze. Much needed at this point. Needs to get that first item, and he should be very, very close. Mission also, once again, going towards the Ludens. Maybe a little questionable, given that there is that Cassante there that Leandries would be really nice against. But admittedly, the rest don't have a lot of HP. And he is already on that bot side, so we'll be there nice and early. We'll see if Kaze ends up TPing down there. Top lane has been relatively quiet, but both of them scaling up. And Hanabi, he's going back towards the Dustblade this game. Confidence is back. A TP was invested onto the bot side there by Kaze. Feels like he's pretty hard to die. Now, did he not buy anything? I don't think he did.
Kaze?
No. So I'm not sure if he didn't have enough for the Leandries, because obviously there's no room in his inventory.
I think he just TP'd from mid to bottom.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
He's going to have a hard time getting off the map here and might become the target. I think this was a pretty big mistake from Kaze. Now, there is no TP up. It is hard to dive in his ear, admittedly, but there are more members coming down.
Oh, nice dodge of the shove there means that he is going to keep himself pretty safe, although Aladoric on the
rotation.
Yeah, on the rotation. Gets caught off. It is Hana who picks that one up. Actually, it's not Hana. It's Cascada that picked that one up, but the ult used by Hana secures it. And with that, red buff going down. A minute and a half until this Herald, and I think an important thing to look out for is if any of these item spikes can be hit. Take a look at the replay.
Aladoric was just on the way down to try relieve some of this pressure off his mid laner, but that CC just takes him out. Damage comes through from Cascada, and I think now, because he recalls and gets the Leandry, but it comes at the cost of losing that first tower, which is picked up by Mission. Should have himself a lot of gold. Very important for these upcoming next fights. A Herald and Dragon spawning not too far away. Probably can go for a reset.
Okay, now. It is obviously that Leandry's coming through. Divine Sunder as well. We'll see if Cassante can get to what looks to be a Jack show. Doesn't feel like he'll have the time to do so. Obviously only 46 seconds until the Rift Herald spawns. But ultimately all things pretty even in the item front ahead of this next Herald. And I'm not sure that Chiefs will want to contest it. If they can land a little bit of harassment with Azir, then maybe there's an angle to do so. But it does feel like Mission's pretty scary at this point.
I think so. I think your play here is to just try hit 2 items on Azir and Xayah ahead of the next Dragon, maybe. I don't think there'd be 2 items on Azir, but it does feel like those are kind of the spikes that you want to hit. At the same time, that does mean that the Kai'Sa poke will be hitting by that point. I think fights should favor DCG for now, though. Dustblade completed up there in the top lane. And now working on this top tower. No one's here. Because he's going to start walking up towards it. We'll be able to clear that way. But DCG, they're in river first. I'm not sure if Chiefs want that fight. BioPanther has walked all the way up. Now, there is TP for Hanabi. He can TP in with a flank.
BioPanther goes unstoppable. Looking actually onto Hana.
Lots of damage already put out by Mission.
Babip so low. He's going to have to flash away from that Void Seeker.
That Magic Pen doing huge damage early on here.
It is, and not the start you wanted of this fight, especially because Hanabi is knocking on that tier 2 bot tower.
Yeah.
That was a 5v4. You should have been the ones getting control, but just the amount of zone control really out of Mission and maybe a bit of poke from Cascada means that DCG are just winning on both sides of the map. And while you can be at least okay with that as Chiefs, you do got the great scaling with both an Azir and a Xayah. It's not how you want this mid game to play out, ideally. Mid tower might be looked at next. Bio, he's forced to match bot. Still has TP, but a lot of members around this mid tower now.
And this will be mid tower going down. Raze does have the ability to keep himself alive, of course, with Featherstorm and both Sums available. Can't ultimately stop that Herald from coming in. Does manage to pick themselves up. Another tower here do DCG. Won't get a second charge off. But the Dragon spawning now, and Orca has just recalled. Mission as well, recalling as we see up on that top side. So Chiefs have priority here around this Dragon. But are DCG going to be willing to give it? Mission teleporting into that mid lane, and Orca is almost in the area. Hana as well, positioning pretty aggressively. Void Seeker will not connect. And Aladoric's actually hiding away in the wings here.
Hanabi
as well.
Coming from Hanabi.
Okay, quickness comes in. It is the grand entrance, but it only lands onto Orca. Ultimately, Kizé picks up that Dragon for himself. Hanabi having to flash away, getting quite low, but the Killer Instinct comes through. A three-man wall. Mission uses that wall as the Emperor's Divide itself and manages to confirm some more kills here for the side of DCG. Only Babip and Kizé remain, but what a wall that was.
That was an immaculate team fight, I have to say. I mean, finding those angles as well as Hanabi managing to get in, deal the damage and get out was really, really nice. Team fight execution out of DCG just on a different level there, and a rare level of coordination, honestly, shown from DCG. Get a look at that Hanabi. He's got that great flank over this wall. And the engage from Aladoric, it doesn't find either carry, and he's forced to retreat into the pit here. Low health bars. Cascada, I believe he snipes Raze, who tried to flash, but it was too late. And then that wall gets them all stuck there. Was just a, what is that, a 3 for none? And the Dragon picked up? Yep. Oh, Dragon not picked up.
Dragon was taken by Kizé. Yeah.
By Kizé. Shadow Flame will be worked on here by Mission. More Magic Pen, more wins.
This time we see the Aatrox going for the full lethality build.
Ooh.
Heading towards that Edge of Night.
Confidence indeed for him. Gold lead. It's been in the favor of DCG all game long, and it's continuing to grow. 5k up again. Feels very similar to that first game. This time, though, more in control.
Yep, no 7-0 Renekton to try and get through.
Not this time.
BioPanther not landing a whole lot of those Natofu strikes.
3-man onto bot side, but Aatrox is not very easy to dive.
Has his ult as well. So
I think they might even have overstayed as DCG. They're walking down.
Yeah, this looks pretty dangerous. BioPanther, not the most mobile of champions, especially without that all-out coming through. As Orca's looking, it's going to be that Glacial Prison used. Lands onto BioPanther, but the team fight breaks out. Babip looking for the Cyclone, finds quite a good one, and the Emperor's Divide is immaculate there from Kizé. But with that Dustblade coming through, Hanabi is no longer targetable, is just going to continue pushing forward, and it's Kizé and Babip who do go down despite their huge AoE teamfight ultimates. And again, DCG just pulling further and further ahead now, ending up about 6k gold ahead, only 20 minutes in.
There's a bit of a shellacking. Now, there is still a lot of scaling, especially out of that Azir and the Xayah. So I don't think that the game is necessarily over, but you'd have to say it's well and truly in DCG's favor as they're going to pick up even more gold onto the bot side here. And you wonder if maybe Chiefs are playing this out a bit too fast. They've gone for a lot of aggressive plays when they still don't have the Nashes on Azir and they still don't have the Navori on Xayah. I think if they'd maybe just taken it a little slower, played into their comms win conditions, and also just play into the DCG tendency to throw if the game goes too long. But they haven't done that, and they're paying the price. Down 7,000 gold here at only 20 minutes in. They do have a couple drags. which will allow them to buy time to scale. But you wonder if that ship is kind of already sailed at this point.
Yeah. Definitely does feel like you're kind of running out of time. And now the Sorks picked up by Cruscata made me hope that it was going to be the actual AP Kaiser, but with the dagger, it certainly will now be the Quinsus. And again, I'm not sure why. It feels like you have such a good time poking away at this low-range team that the Chiefs have put out. But they are just so far ahead now that it probably doesn't matter.
I wonder if he just wants the ability. Oh, as Mission
Mission's
is
being
engaged
looked at.
on.
Does
Has
have flash available. Goes towards the side of Chief's base. Orca in the area. Mission still being looked at as Babbitt trying to find damage there. Raze is freely hitting here on the backside as Mission slowly works away at their health bars, as well as obviously Cruscata on the Kaiser. Killer Instinct uses Bipanther trying to look for something. Babbitt picks up that kill credit, but it's Hanabi finding a triple. He's looking for a penta here on this Aatrox. It took 3 games, and maybe it's finally finding its own. Featherstorm does come out. Orca likely to go down. It will be Raze who picks that one up, so it was not all for naught. They managed to find 2 kills there. 1 onto Cruscata, 1 onto Orca, but it's a 2 for 3 in favor of DCG yet again.
Humongous damage from the Aatrox there, killing the Aatrox at the top of the, the Azir at the top of the fight there. DCG going to possibly have a Baron angle here?
They could. Cruscata's not alive, and Talia hasn't really built for DPS, so I think they will just be happy to take away some farms, some camps, and of course that tower.
But you also have the Dragon in 20 seconds.
That is true. We're going to replay. So Mission, he's engaged on, but with that flash, manages to get out. And I feel like from this point, Chiefs are in a rough spot. They don't have a unified front line, which is what they need for the Azir and the Xayah. An extremely split fight with both carries on the side, and Kizé in no man's land just killed off there at the top. And Mission, he was the engaged target, and he didn't end up falling down at all. I believe it was Cruscata that got taken out here. Stuck in the edge of the blue buff there with nowhere to go. And Hanabi, like you said, it took a while for him to warm up to the Aatrox pick, but it's looking real good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mission has been quite the escape artist this game. That's probably the 4th or 5th time that he's waltzed his way out of the Wukong and the Rakan in some combination.
Yeah, he's done pretty well, and you saw there. Picked up 1,500 assists. What a generous mid laner.
True.
You sure wouldn't see Shock doing that.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, you know how it is.
Okay, 23 minutes in. DCG well and truly ahead in this game.
Aatrox going back now.
Ooh, Hana.
We're looking at Hana.
This
Baron
is
is up. This could be important. Do they have the damage to kill here,
Wow.
though? It doesn't feel like they do.
No, and I think they could just look at Baron here, DCG. They have a lot of control, and with the way he's shoved, it's really hard. Chiefs,
Okay.
they're going to go for a desperate play here to try and fight this. I think if DCG just kite away...
Kizé coming in. Babbitt might look for a steal. I'm not sure if his position is known, at least for now.
He's
Gets
in.
over the wall, but he's going to get taken out almost immediately. Hanabi and Mission confirming that will happen. And now it's really Kizé trying to find the damage, and admittedly he's finding quite a lot of it, but it's not going to be enough. It's a 4v5 now with your Wukong dead. Hanabi going on in. Killer Instinct comes through to follow. That's both your carries now dead. All you have left is your tank and your support. Baron over to DCG. Pressure around the map given to, and we might just see this base starting to get sieged.
Yeah, we're only 24 minutes in, but so far ahead here is DCG. They can start breaking the walls of this base down. Hanmi is level 16, only 24 minutes, and so is Mission. Just so accelerated here. They take one, tier 2, another one not far behind. That bot lane is already gone. Probably can just take away the rest of these camps, which makes it even harder. And once again, if you look at the Chiefs' inventory, no 2 items on Azir or Xayah, and that's your breaking point really for being able to win some fights. But if you're this far behind before you get there, it's never going to matter.
Certainly feels that way. Take a look at this replay. It was Babbitt just getting pretty much immediately annihilated.
They did go in very early. I don't think they had vision of the Baron. This really is a desperation play, and you do see why they are just so far behind at this point. Feels like they do have to do something, otherwise they do just slowly bleed out. But unfortunately, it does go awry. And now a Medjai's full mission. He's looking good. Sieging on towards these towers. Looks like they want to play towards mid and top. There is no flash on missions, so that could maybe be an angle. Cruscata as well, and they don't have any defensive items to speak of.
I think you just have to get this Navori.
Yep, 2 items on Azir. Again, too little too late, you do feel like, but It's better than
They're
nothing.
looking for Hanabi. There's going to be all out used on him, and he's going to go down pretty much immediately. And importantly, the goal picked up there by Raze on the Xayah. That means Navori Quickblade should be able to be finished as soon as you go back to the base. But even arguably more importantly, puts a stop to this possible Baron siege.
Does. Definitely puts a few more minutes on this game, which is exactly what they need. Like you said, that goal picked up there for Raze it's big. He's going to be able to get the Navori before another fight. And the Dragon win condition is still far away, although Kize is caught out on the top side. And that means the base is back on the menu.
That's right. It was 1,000 gold for Raze picked up in that shutdown, but is it going to be enough? Obviously, with your Azir being gone now, and BioPanther cannot get over this wall, does not have all out, is able to keep himself up for now, but pretty low here on this Cassante, and there is no real engage that you can get through, so it is just this inhib being looked at and likely to go down. They're trying to get to work on this mid wave, so it can't be another one, but there is teleport available for Hanabi, and you don't have Kize for another 15 seconds. They're just looking to end. BioPanther trying to do what he can to disrupt anything. Flashes forward, will not land that knock-up, and is just going to go down. Pay the price there for his attempt. Raze uses that Featherstorm, dodges out of that Void Seeker, but he just has no damage. Hanabi's taking absolutely nothing. It is Babab in the top side, though, of your screens, trying to disrupt as much as he can, but now with the Nexus open, it should just be DCG and a massive engage found from Orca. It is the Emperor's Divide, though. Should find two, but do they have what it takes? And they do not. It's going to be DCG who take the win. And what was ended up